testing thing. You guys know the drill. Testing to see if this is going to be 44.1 kilohertz or 48 kilohertz. Depending on the day, it seems to switch. Let's see. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's not even on. All right. Try this again. All right, now it's on. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is clearly not correct. We will try that again. Today is a 48 kilohertz day. So what I'm doing here is, when you connect this as a USB device, you have to select what frequency you want, and depending on the day, it differs, which I don't know why. Alrighty, let's test and see if this is correct. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is correct. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That sounds to be good. All right, we're cooking with gas today. Hi, Reems, how you doing? Today's a 48 kilohertz day. Today's a 48 kilohertz day. All right, 48 kilohertz days are good days. It's a sunny day here in the Seattle area, the Northwest. Oops, there goes this. Let's push this down further. Turn this off so we stop getting that stupid feedback repeating thing. All right, now let's get some coffee. Got some, but I think we need some more. So I skimmed through a little bit of last time's practice time, TGI practice stream, TGIF practice stream, that thing. And I think that the mic was too high because you could hear me, but then when I played, it was like crackling. So you guys let me know if it crackles today while I play. I turned it down. So you guys know it's kind of a hard balance when you're doing a live stream with piano with one mic, in that either the piano's too loud and my voice is just right, or my voice is too low and my piano is just right. So you kind of have to have a happy medium there. But let me know if when I start playing, if it's bad, and if my my voice level is bad. So let's see, updates for all y'all. Not too much new. A lot of the same stuff, you know. Been releasing YouTube stuff. Oh, I actually got my a little bit of a Google finally, or YouTube finally transferred a little bit of money to me. So my first thingy. So that's well, first thingy since being remonetized. So that's neat. I think it's averaging out in ad revenue, that is, to about $1 a day. So I might be making, on this YouTube endeavor, I might be making a half a cent an hour, maybe. Anyway, that's kind of neat though. It's neat that I can get the music out there regardless. So, any other updates, news? Not too much. I mean, teaching, practicing, YouTube, and then dealing with all the, you know, the scheduling stuff. It's interesting, scheduling stuff for the new year. It seems like a lot of places, and this is kind of what I expected, in the 21-22 season, because concert seasons are often follow the kind of the school year. So like the season in music is like September through May or June, right? And that's like, so it's like a 21-22, 22-23, that kind of a season. So the 21-22 season, the season that's going to be starting in the fall, is primarily, it seems like, in a lot of places, makeups of like stuff that was canceled in the past, and even that is kind of up in the air in a lot of places because here, let me tip this down. It's like aimed way up at the ceiling or something for some reason. That's probably a little better, but now the legs are I need to like buy new some of this stuff. This one's broken. Last week the other thing broke. It's always stuff always breaking. All right. Well, that one's actually really old, so it's about time, I guess, for it to go. Plastic doesn't last forever, it seems. Plastic stuff, that is. I guess plastic, like, that lasts a very long time. But the stuff that it's made, like stuff that's made out of plastic, those things break. And then you just have a whole bunch of useless plastic that never goes away, I guess, or something. I don't know. So I'm rambling. It's still a little early in the morning. I need more coffee. Oh yeah, so 21, 22, I think a lot of places are basically redoing, you guys are cooking, I'll adjust you while I talk. They're basically making up for the concerts that had been missed in 2020, right? So it's kind of like a makeup season in a way where people are basically, for the most part, it seems like they're trying to like reschedule concerts that were canceled. And again, that's kind of hit or miss as well, because it really depends on things like where the concerts are. You know, some places are more opened up than other places, stuff like that. So it seems like 21, 22 is going to be a kind of a makeup season for a lot of places. Alexa, piano on. And I think yeah, I think it's going to be a makeup season for a lot of places, and that might extend even further. So I think in terms of like booking new places and stuff, that's not going to happen for a little while. Maybe the following season, because I think for the most part, this is my impression, is that the 21-22 season is going to be places trying to reschedule stuff that got canceled, and that might extend even into like 22-23 that season. So it's yeah. Oh, hey, Reams, thank you for the super chat. Very cool. I like that emoji, too. Well, that's cool. Well, thank you very much for the super chat, Reams. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, so that's kind of my impression. So 21-22 is going to be like a makeup season for a lot of, I think, for the industry. And that might extend into 22-23, and then things might start being booked a few years out. I'm wondering how many... you know, I hope that a lot of places don't go under, like permanently, because, you know, a lot of smaller venues and stuff were kind of not necessarily doing great before the pandemic started, but now that has kind of, you know, the pandemic, I'm afraid might have, you know, kind of been the nail in the coffin for some maybe smaller venues, maybe some smaller orchestras, maybe some smaller like concert like series, just for recitals or whatever. So hopefully, you know, that's not the case, and hopefully everyone, you know, all the series and orchestras all survive. But I wonder if that might be the case. I think the big places will be okay because they have the big donors, the big corporate sponsors, stuff like that. I think they'll probably be all right. Anyway, today. Oh, and for other news, so I'm trying to think of the weather's starting to get nicer, which means I'm starting to think about outdoor projects and whatnot. And I don't know if you guys have ever watched any of my non-music videos, because, you know, I do music stuff, but I also like to do you know, all kinds of other stuff. My project, or one project for this spring/summer, and I don't know when I'm going to start it. It might be next week, it might be in a few weeks, or a month or so, is finishing the garage. And so our house has a garage that was, if you know anything about drywall, which I don't, but I've been researching, it was finished to level 1, so you can still see the tape on the walls, and they've like mudded over it, but like as they put the tape in, right? So I need to finish the garage by basically putting joint compound over the tapes that are exposed to kind of smooth it out and sand it, and then I've also got primer and paint. I'm just doing ultra white, Valspar, that stuff. So that's kind of like a big project that I've never done before, but it's my hope is that even if it's not a great turnout, it'll be better than what's currently in the garage. Because in the garage, it's like, you know, you see the bare drywall and then the splotchy lines all over the place, and there's writing on the wall when the construction happened, that kind of a thing. So I'm hoping that it'll probably, knock on wood, be better after I do it than before, knock on wood. I'm also trying to figure out whether I want to put on the edge thing, put metal edges along the bottom to make a cleaner line. It's a pretty clean line already, but like I'm a little bit obsessive about like things looking good, so I don't know. And also the question is, well, I have like those shelves that I put up. Do I want to bother taking all of those shelves down, painting under it, and then doing it up, or just basically painting around it? Because there's like 3 little lines coming up and down, and then 1 line across. I probably will never take the shelves off, and if I do, even if I had painted under it, the paint would probably be discolored under it than out it, because you know paint changes colors and the light coming in through the garage door windows and stuff like that. It could yeah, I'd probably have to repaint over it anyway. So I don't know if I'm gonna take those shelves down. I don't know. Drywall's a messy job. Yeah, dust everywhere when you sand it out. Absolutely. That's what I'm concerned about. But it's all, so the only part I have to actually like do like joint compound on are those strips. So there's basically 2 strips of tape that run around the perimeter of the garage, and then there's a few smaller lines along the ceiling. So those are the parts that I have to mainly do, and then along the edges, up and down. So it's not like I have to like go over the entire, you know, area of the walls. It's just those 2 lines are on the side, a few lines on the top, and then the corners, or the edges that pop out where the tape is. It'll probably be messy, but I think it might look better than what it looks like now. I don't know, summer job. So I went to Lowe's and I bought all the stuff yesterday. So I've kind of unofficially committed to trying. So we'll see. Anyway, that's enough. Enough blabbering, Charlie. So I've never done drywalls, that kind of stuff. And again, I'm not putting up drywall. The drywall's there and the tape is there. Everything is there. It's just like basically smoothing over the tape with joint stuff so that you don't see the tape and I can paint over it. So I got primer and then I got paint, both white. White. They could have tinted it, but I figured white is probably good for a garage. And I have to keep reminding myself, I'm like kind of a perfectionist. You guys probably know that about me. But I have to keep reminding myself that it's a garage. Like, it's not supposed to be perfect. Like if it was in my house, I wouldn't do it. I would hire someone, or it gets expensive. But if it was inside, I would try to hire someone, or I wouldn't do it myself. But it's a garage, so it's like if it's not perfect, it'll still probably look a lot better than what it is now. And our garage luckily doesn't have a ton of stuff in it. I mean, we have 1 car, and then we have 1 refrigerator, which I can pull away from the wall, and 1 set of shelves that can pull away from the wall. And then other than that, there's like 2 things on the wall, like those shelves that I put up, and then the other stuff, and then tankless water heater where I can paint around and stuff. So hopefully it don't be too bad. But again, Stella and I painted my office, and then 1 room that the previous owners had already painted. We wanted to paint them kind of more neutral stuff, and that was a pain in the butt. So I'm not super big on painting. Yeah. But I think it'll be okay, and it's a garage, so again, you don't have to worry so much about if something drips on something, you know, stuff like that. When my OCD kicks in, it'll be perfect. And I am pretty a perfectionist. I'm a pretty perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist, yeah. Anyway, so so the question now that I'm debating in my mind is, should I go out and get those strips to run along the bottom to make the edge like perfect, or is what is in there good enough? And the other thing is, should I take down those shelves that I put up, or just go around it? I don't know. We'll see. Oh yeah, I don't like to paint. I'm not good at it. Join the club. Well, I went with white, and we'll see. I think it's going to be a ton of work, and I'm probably going to be super sore, and it's going to probably take, even if I went hard at it, like, you know, like all day stuff, I think it would probably take me a few days, especially because you can't just like go right at it. You have to wait for the stuff to dry, and then you have to sand it, and then start painting, and then dry, and then paint it again. So I think it'll be minimum a few days. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's a summertime project. So today, what we're going to do is Schumann Concerto. I actually ordered another concerto, the music for one. Not this one, another one. And that'll probably come in a few weeks. It'll be my next, maybe, concerto to start looking at. for the meantime, Schumann Concerto, and then also last week we kind of started touching on the Chopin Sonata number 2. I've read a little bit more through it, so we'll work on a little bit of that, including some of the movements that I haven't touched on with you guys that's still super note by note, but we'll see how it goes. Let's look at Schumann Concerto A minor. Let me do the timestamp thing like I always do just so we know. It's about 15 and a half minutes. Oops, come on, 15:30. Schumann Concerto in A minor, movement 1. Boop. All right. Let's give it a go. Movement 1. Let's do that again. And let me know what the how the audio levels are, because again, last week was too loud and it cracked. If you hear cracking sounds too much at least, let me know and I'll lower the mic level. measure 431, 2, 432. One more time. It's bum ba ba. Charlie, come on, get the rhythms right. That's it. One more time. It's coming, slowly coming. Coffee time. Hey VC Music, the page. Yeah, tell me about it. Some people sometimes ask why don't I use or if I tried using those like an iPad. Like there's apps for iPad where you can do it. I'm old school, and it's kind of funny too because about like everything else, I love like tech stuff and high tech stuff and like I like that. I like computers and tech and all that stuff. But when it comes to music, I don't know. I like having a piece of paper you can just write on. You don't have to worry about charging it. It's there. If you're flying somewhere and you just need to bring your music, you just stick it in your bag. I don't know. Paper is aesthetic. Yeah, it's just something, and I'm fond now of Henley Urtext. And again, I'm not sponsored by Henley. For those of you who might not know, it's just like an editor. So you can buy like the Schumann Concerto from many different publishers, and then there's different editors. So they make like suggestions and stuff. Urtext generally means there's no suggestions, and I don't know if it means there's literally none or few to none, but not a lot of edits and stuff, right? So they try to keep it pretty original to what the composer wrote. But anyways, Miss Pyun, my teacher, actually she's a fan of Urtext or Henley, so I started just buying Henley, and so now I just default to buying that, even though it's not cheap. Like this thing here, this is $38.95 MSRP. I might have gotten a few bucks off, but there's probably shipping too. But it's printed in Germany. Oh, look at that, printed in Germany. So this is like a German book here. All right, expensive blue books. Yeah, the blue ones are expensive. I think they might be among the most expensive for scores. I don't know. But the paper is nice. Look at this. This isn't some cheapo, I don't work at Dunder Mifflin, but this is like nice paper. I don't know. I'm getting all like And then compare that with like this one, which is, I don't know what version this is. I had this when I was a kid. What version is this? I don't know, but this one. And this is like, oh, Dover. All right, they're pretty famous too, but like the paper is just not, you can just hear the difference here. Yeah, and then, I don't know, you can just hear the difference. Yeah. Anyway, I'm being real picky right now. Oh, guessing that was written after 1850. Yeah, I think so. Schumann Concerto. When was it written exactly? Let's take a look. Well, we're taking a break. Schumann Concerto, A minor, written in what? Oh, no, 1841. We're both wrong. 1841. You're close. Really close. But unfortunately, on The Price is Right, if you $1 over is you're out. Sorry, VC Music. I'm kidding. Do you guys still watch? Do you guys watch The Price is Right? That's a fun show. I've never seen that since I was a kid. I think it's still on. Doesn't Drew Carey do it now? I think so. I don't even remember the. Oh, Bob Barker was the guy, the original host. He was the original host. Wonderful. Paper is aesthetic. Expensive blues. That book will outlast whatever you put on a tablet. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, a tablet, you know, what's it have? A few years of life on it. In reality, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Like, if you buy an iPad, you aren't going to use it for more than maybe 4 years, and that's pushing it too, right? Like, how many people are using an older than 4 or 5 year old iPad? Not many. I have an iPad. I don't know. Did I throw it away? I might have thrown it away. Like the iPad. Stella gave it to me as a graduation gift years ago. It was an iPad. It was the first one with. It wasn't the first iPad. It was like the first one that had the Retina display. So it was like the second or third generation iPad. And you know, after a while, you can't update them, and then the battery doesn't last, and you know, he was ahead of his time. Yep. You did not win the fabulous showcase. Oh, I know. Sorry, VC Music. You didn't make it to the showcase showdown. Oh man. Have you guys noticed that like whenever there's like the showcase showdown, and I'm no expert on like The Price is Right, but like usually there's at least one of the two showcases has a car, and if there's no car in the first one, the first person like often passes it up because they just really want the car. I think so. Oh, hang on, just reading a text here. All right. Let's do the second movement. And this one actually kind of goes into the third, so. Alrighty, let's take a look. Oh, wait, sorry. I didn't put the timestamp. 36:36. So Albright is like 36:45. I write the timestamps for those of you who might not follow as often, because then people can later see where each thing starts. Yeah. Also, this is a good time to remind you that if you have not hit the like button, please do so. Thank you for the algorithm. All right, movement 2. This is intermezzo. Oh, come on, Charlie. I didn't play that note like it didn't sound. time. I want to shape it more. Forte piano. Let's do the third movement. We'll go right into it. That was the end of the first one. 41, 45. We'll say it's 42. And this is movement 3. All right. Third movement. Now we're good. Sorry about that. Where should we start? Let's start here. I'm at right here. You can do slow practice. Or, I mean, in different ways like that. Or you can also like have your, like if you're right-handed, like most people are, if you mentally lead with your left hand, it can sometimes help keep it together. Dream Kitchen and trip to exotic Greece. You're right, Reeves. $1 over. It's the price is right. Amazing to watch and listen. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad you guys are all watching and listening. It's kind of fun to sometimes have an audience during a practice, just because you're not by yourself, just practicing. I guess. The sensation giving Charlie fits. Yep, got it. Yep. It's still very rough. I'm not sure how much more I'm going to polish it though. I think so when you're learning something, like for me at least, when I'm learning something and there's no clear like, oh, I'm going to play it in, this place at this time. And this is one of those pieces, I'm just learning this just to have it under my fingers. I don't think it's necessarily worth like getting it past like, polishing it too much, because at a certain point you're always gonna, at least for me. So like if you know the piece to a certain level, I don't know what the level is. Let's see. I guess you could do it. I might be able to make it a little better and then put it away. But if you get it to like 80 or 90% or whatever it is for you that you're comfortable with, polishing it to 100% or as close to it as you can get takes a lot of work. It's kind of like that. It's like the 80-20 rule. You've heard of that, right? There's another word for it. They talk about it in economics. They talk about it in all kinds of stuff. Basically, the general premise of the rule is like 20% of things results in like 80% of results. So like, for example, like this is supposedly, all this is supposedly. So like if you have a business, 20% of your customers account for like 80% of like your sales, right? And then 80% of the customers result in 20% of the sales. And it also, I think, can be applied to a lot of things, like maybe like effort and like reward or whatever. So like if you get like, I don't know if this even applies here, maybe I'm just rambling, like it gets very hard. It's like once you get 80% of the way there, it gets very hard to like polish it. And for me at least, the polishing doesn't stay. So regardless of if it's a piece that I've played 50 million times before, if I haven't played it in a long time, I still have to repolish it and get that last 10, 20% or whatever, and try to peak. You want your peak to be at the concert, right? Because if you start too early, maybe you might even peak and go down, or you don't want to, miss the, have the peak be after the concert date, like that. I guess you want it to peak at the concert date. So you're gonna have to put in work anyway, even if you know the piece. So I'm not sure, at least for me, how valuable it is to like really polish something that I'm not gonna necessarily play anytime soon for sure, because you're putting in all that work and you're ultimately going to have to like repolish it if when you finally do play it, if that makes any sense. Because like the amount of work that goes into the last bit is a lot, and it's temporary too. Like it'll go back down to like the baseline of 80 or 90% or whatever it is for that particular person. That might be a good talking time. I should write that down as an idea. Peaking at the right time or something like that. Let me write down. I write down, sometimes if I just have like an idea of like a possible talking time, I'll just like write it down so that later if I like, oh, I need to like, you know, do something, I can, peaking at the right time, preparing, maybe these are two different topics. Preparing a piece, polishing a piece, and always having to repolish a piece, not republish, repolish a piece right before a performance, even if you know the piece well, or something like that. Okay, whatever. You're mind-blowingly amazing. Oh, thank you, Reams. That's very sweet of you to say. Very nice of you to say. Thanks, man. Okay, so the Chopin Sonata number 2 is another one of those pieces where I thought, well, it's a cool piece. I'd like to add it to the rep, and maybe. Oh, I hope you play the Schumann live at some point. I've become very fond of it from listening to you practice it. Yeah, I hope to too. I think it's one of those pieces that's played relatively frequently. I've learned so many pieces that are like one-off pieces, and by one-off pieces, it's not necessarily reflective of the music itself. I'm not saying that they're not good pieces, but certain pieces are performed often and certain pieces aren't. And I've learned a lot of pieces for like a concert. Like they want me to learn a piece, a certain orchestra or something wants me to learn a piece just for this concert so they can play this rare piece that never gets played or something like that. I've learned a lot of those kinds of things. They're fun to do. The issue with it though is, you know, whether you're learning a rare piece or a common piece, the amount of work is probably similar, or at least for pieces in that same like genre, right? It's like a rare romantic piece is going to be about as hard to learn as a not rare romantic piece. But the issue is that you learn the rare romantic piece, you play it, and the chances are you'll never play it again, ever. Chances are. There's exceptions, yeah, but chances are you'll never play it. So you put all that work in for one concert, and you never get to play it again, which kind of sucks, right? Because you put all that work in, yeah. And it might be a great piece too. This doesn't necessarily reflect on how good or bad the piece is. Some are good, some are bad. That's just how pieces are. Some pieces are good and some pieces are bad. But if you learn a piece that's common, like that's programmed often in different places, orchestras or is asked for in recitals, I suppose, or whatever. I don't know about the second. But then the chances are you'll be able to play it many times. You know, maybe you play once with one orchestra, and then maybe a few years later another orchestra will ask you to play it, or something like that. Yeah, so Schumann is definitely in like the top group of concertos that get performed. So hopefully that'll be the case. What's the most oddball piece you've had to learn and play? Oh, it's a good question. Most oddball piece. There was one piece I learned and played that involved, I won't get into too specifics, but there was one piece that involved me strumming on the inside of the piano. Like this. That was a little different. Yeah. I'll just say that. It was different. Yeah. There's definitely, I've seen people perform a piece before even, where in the middle of the piece, it was like a chamber music piece. I don't know if it was a piano violin or piano violin or something. I wasn't playing that one. But like in the middle of the piece, someone got up and took like a big like Home Depot bucket or that kind of size bucket full of ping pong balls and dumped it in the piano. Like, I'm not kidding, like into the piano. And it wasn't a joke. It was serious. I mean, I know you guys know my opinion on stuff like that. And and it's not, my opinion on stuff like that actually isn't mainstream in the classical music world. A lot of the classical music world, people are really into really out there stuff, you know, stuff like woo, woo, that kind of music. I added the woo woo. I mean, I just made that up, people are out. A lot of like the general consensus among classical music, or at least, and it's weird because this is another talking time episode probably. Hang on, let me write that one down too. Sorry, folks, we're taking a quick break here. Atonal, weird, quote, out there classical music. So what was my point? Oh, so it's interesting. The mainstream of like classical music people, right? Like people who are like the musicians, the organizers, things like that. The mainstream consensus, and this is not by any means like everyone, but you know, a lot of it are very kind of pro new classical music. And by new classical music, they mean like very atonal, weird kind of sounding stuff like that. You guys know my opinion on it. My opinion is that for something to be considered music, it has to have one or more of the following things: a melody, harmony, rhythm. It's got to have at least one, and for me, preferably more than one, or maybe all of them. And I think that if it doesn't have any of those things, by my definition, it's not music, it's noise. Just like most people would say, okay, a bus driving down the street is noise, it's not music, okay? But if you had bus sounds going, you know, like the sound it makes, if you have like a, like then it would be like, okay, it has like rhythm. It might not have melody or harmony, but it has rhythm. Okay, then you could say that's music, okay? But like, if it doesn't have any of those things, then by my definition, not music. You could say it's art, but I wouldn't define it as music. For me, and this is again, I'm just my opinion, you know, you could say art, right, is like this overarching things, and there's a whole ton of different kinds of art. There's like visual art, there's music, there's film, there's, you know, all kinds of stuff. And music is a specific type of art. So maybe like, you know, if you have something that doesn't have harmony or rhythm or melody, maybe you can call it art, right? But I wouldn't call it music. Maybe it's a type of contemporary art of some kind, right? But it's not, I wouldn't call it music. Anyway, that's just, I'm getting really out there now. I suppose ping pong balls will make an interesting sound. Weird. Yeah, weird. I can't remember how it sounds. It probably just sounds like ping pong balls in a piano. It's like bouncing on strings or something. Anyway, how are we getting to this point? Oh, we were talking about, pieces that you learn for one time versus that you can play a lot. Yeah, so ideally when you're learning a piece, at least for me, I want to learn a piece, hopefully I'll get a chance to play a lot, right? Because otherwise you're putting a ton of time and effort into it, and you might only get to play it once, and then that's it. Yeah. But so I've done a lot of music that's like that, but you know, I want to learn a lot of music also I want to learn a lot of music ideally that I can play a lot, versus music that I can't play a lot. Yeah. Okay. So Chopin Sonata number 2 in B flat minor is a piece that I could play a lot if I want to. We'll see how it goes. This is the famous, how many sonatas did he write? He wrote a few. It's the one that has like the death march at the end that everyone knows. Da, 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 da. And this is super new. Super new. I mean, I kind of poked my way through the first movement last time. I can kind of poke my way a little bit to the second movement, third movement, fourth movement, it's like note by note. Like it's just really, really, I'm learning the notes still. But let's just go through a little bit of it at least and see what it's like. So this is the second movement. Let me look up the timestamp here. We're at 1064, so I'll say 107. Oh shoot, I put it in the wrong line. 10700. This is a Chopin Sonata number 2. B flat minor, opus 35, and this is movement 1. All right. I'll change these to colons for consistency. 1 ones above. And finally, there we go. Save. All right, let's give it a go. So here's the first movement. Again, really, really rough, really rough. But it'll go like this. It'll get worse and worse. So it'll start rough and end up on a rocky beach or something. a cool movement when you can play it right. I can't play it right yet, but it kind of reminds me of the Beethoven one. Right? The Tempest. Is it Tempest? It has a similar kind of, you know. Second time it goes. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It has but it has a kind of, you know what I'm saying, right? It has a similar kind of feel. All right, so the second movement. Again, this is going to gradually or significantly drop off a cliff in terms of playability. I might not even play the last one right now because it's just painful to listen to. Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, that was the second one. Oh, I forgot to put the timestamp on that one. Do we remember where it was? Let's see. I can rewind real quick and find it, 'cause otherwise later I'm not going to be able to. Going back. Oh. It's about 10 minutes ago. Oh, 8 minutes ago. 9 minutes ago, roughly. So whatever the thing is now is minus 9 minutes. 124 and a half. So that'll take us down to like 115. All right. Roughly. All right, good enough. Okay, it's an interesting piece. Yeah, it's like a march. And then the next one is the funeral march. All right, movement 3. So let's hack our way through this one too. 125. It's movement 3. And then finally the last is going to be movement 4, but I don't know what the timestamp is yet. If I'll even do it. We'll see. All right. Everyone knows this one. notes, Charlie. That's A double flat. Is the famous song, right? I mean, everyone knows the theme of that. The beginning just starts off as one more time. It's a beautiful piece. It's a haunting piece. Everyone knows that melody, but like a lot of people, I think, probably don't know the rest of it. Parts of this are so similar to fancy from. Yeah, you're right. I didn't actually think of that. Like the middle part, right? The other one, fantasy impromptu, and this one has that. I think it's in the same key too. Very similar. Nice catch there, Reems. The balance needs to be just right. Notes are very rough, but you can kind of play that movement. Now the last movement though, oh hey Jay, feel similar to Nocturne Opus 27 number 2. Oh, I need to, which one is that? I think I played that one. I always forget the numbers and whatnot. Nocturne Opus 27 number 2. Make sure I've, which one is this? Hang on, let me listen real quick. Actually, I don't think I played this one. That's the one that goes. Yeah, so one that goes. Sorry, it goes. Let's see the notes. Whatever the notes are. Yeah, that's a very famous one. I haven't played that one. I was thinking maybe of another Nocturne. Yeah, it kind of does. It's all in the same key too. And now the Presto is about mucho, mucho largo for me. And I can literally not know any of the notes. It's supposed to be, I've listened to a recording of it, it's like it's weird. It almost sounds like atonal, but it's probably not. I don't know, but I might hackle my way through it. I might not. You can, you guys won't like the way it sounds. 135 because it's just really early. I don't know let's see. It starts off. That's it. That's weird. It actually was not as bad as I feared. And that's saying something because it was really bad. And it's still really bad, but it's not as bad as I thought. It's weird. It's weird. And there's no like, I mean, there's like maybe a built-in melody, but it's not like a clear melody. And it's just like two-handed playing the exact same notes the entire time, just like an octave apart. Weird. Oh, what edition? This is, I was gonna say it was Henley. It's not. This is, I think, Dover. This is an old copy that I had laying around from when I was a kid. Dover, edited by Carl Mikkeli. I usually go for these ones, but this one is, it's this thing. Oh, this picture on the front. Oh, this way. The camera's over there. So it has the impromptus and the sonatas and the ballades. Yeah, I don't know. The paper quality is not so good. But anyway, it's better than it was a few days ago, which is not saying much. But when you're playing at full speed, it's supposed to be really fast. You know, it's almost like this whirlwind. Yeah, it sounds like a finger practice exercise. Kind of is, but it's like kind of this whirlwind. It's supposed to be super fast and like swirling. And then it just ends like that, which is kind of a weird ending to the sonata. The sonata is kind of unique. It's kind of a unique sonata, but it's a neat one, right? It's a neat one. Yep. Before we end today's practice, maybe we should do an improv. As I drink more coffee. Oh, look at this really cool. Is this cracked? No, this is how it looks. Look at this cool glass. I don't know if I showed you guys this glass. Stella's friend sent us these glasses, these coffee mugs. And look, it's cool looking. It's like a swirl and you can hold it like this. I don't know how you'd hold it if you're left-handed. It would not work so well. But thank you to Stella's friend for sending us a couple of these mugs. They're really neat. All right. Oh, Don't Cry For Me. Isn't that a beautiful piece? Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. Yeah. It's from a movie, I think. I don't think I've seen the movie. Let's do a improv. Just to wrap things up here for the day. Today's 1:42. I'll type it in. That way. Have all the timestamps already all the time. All right, let's do an improv. Maybe I'll make not a fast one this time. We've done a lot of fast improvs. What if I do a not so crazy one, a more calm one? Put that there. I don't know, maybe I'll even do like I don't know what style I'll do it in. We'll figure it out. Here we go. interesting. It almost sounds like I don't know. I don't know what it sounds like. It's an E flat major though. No. Yeah, something like that. Just beautiful. Oh, thank you, Reams. Appreciate it. And thank you to everyone how is the mic levels today in terms of being able to hear me when I'm talking and also not cracking in the piano? Was the piano not cracking this time? Because last time it was cracking. I went back and listened and it was like the mic volume was too high and it was maxing out and cracking. Hopefully it wasn't cracking. So let me know if it was. And thank you all for coming. I know a lot of people are coming in and out. If you haven't smashed the like button, you know how to do that. Do it. And if you haven't followed on Facebook, do that. I don't like Facebook, but the more followers you have in different places, the better. And I don't know, have a good weekend. Hope you guys are all doing good. And follow on Instagram, all that. Okay, piano sounded fine, voice level low. Yeah, I think so. It's always that thing, right? Voice is low, piano's right, or piano's cracking and voice is right. Maybe next time I'll see what I have it set to, and maybe next time I'll boost up just a hair. Maybe somewhere we'll meet in the middle. Maybe that'll work for next time we do these. All right. Thanks for the super chat, Rames, and thank you for everyone coming and going. Thank you, Jay. Clap, clap, clap to you too. And I'll see you guys. Have a good. I can't talk. See you guys next time and have a good weekend. Hopefully you guys get some rest and have a nice weekend. So take care. Bye-bye. See you guys later.